Welcome to another match preview where we look ahead to our latest westerly trip, our final far-away foray of 4 western away games on the spin. It's Cathedral watch again. It's Salisbury. So a couple of games in the last week, as is customary in November, finishing with a thoroughly entertaining and equally frustrating 3-3 draw at Bath. But before then, the Stones Cup season came to an end with a timid defeat against fellow Cup specialists Horsham, Nigel.
Yeah, that's right. Wasn't the best of afternoons, was it? So probably the less said about that, the better.
I'll move on to the rest of the FA Trophy then in that case, post-haste. 24 National League South teams entered, only 11 remain. 6 sides were knocked out via National League South head-to-heads. So Hemel, Bath, Chippenham, Dorking, Hornchurch, Tunbridge, the Stones, Chelmsford, Farnborough, St Albans, Truro, Welling, all knocked out. And the fixture that most immediately affects the Stones is Weymouth, because if they progress again in the trophy by winning at Yeovil, then that means the Stones will have a midweek trip to Weymouth, rearranged from Saturday the 4th of January. So keep your eyes on that tie on Saturday the 7th of December. There are another 2 in February and March that could be affected. They're currently home Saturdays. They would become home Tuesdays if those sides stayed there, but that's a way off. So a quick look back now at the Bath midweek game, Nigel. Another Tuesday night draw, but the Stones extend their unbeaten league run to 9 and still undefeated on the road in the league. Your thoughts on another mixed bag match?
Well, yeah, it was another mixed bag match, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's, looking at the game, it was, again, we hit it at the Torquay game, didn't we? You take a point on the road against a team that's perceived to be up there with you at the end of the season if you are going to be challenging, but Bath, they're down there, they're struggling. They got rid of their manager, Jerry Gill, like 24 hours before we went down there, didn't we? So, they was obviously going to be up for it, but it was definitely 2 points chucked away, wasn't it? And it's just a matter of the conceding the goals. I mean, even George said at his interview, you go away from home to a ground that it's not easy on a Tuesday night, score 3 goals, and you only come away with a point. It must be so frustrating. And all the goals you look back, it's not digging anybody out, but it's just like we're masters of our own downfall every time, and it just must become so frustrating. I mean, I know George has talked about it, but all the players they've been given a way to play. They know the threats, and it's about concentration as well. We're like a full-time side in this league. We're training. We've got all the information there. We just need to keep that concentration levels for the whole of the 90 minutes, don't we? I mean,
exactly.
It's not just away from home. How many times has happened this season? Chesham at home, and it comes to mind, and Truro even at home. We could have got a point there if we'd have just concentrated for the whole of the time. So it's starting to now all these mistakes. Whether you blame the goalkeeper, whether you blame the defence, it's just about the communication, isn't it? It's just down switched on. You've got to be alert of that first phase, that second phase, the third phase until that ball's clear. It's no point after the event finger blaming and looking at each other and it was your. It's just a catalogue of errors that we're just being punished at the moment, and it must be so frustrating. But taking the positives from it, as I said, we scored 3 goals away from home, so. We've had new players come in, we'll talk about it in a minute, and we look good. And Papadopoulos got a great goal, and Blair, again, doing what Blair does and just being a nuisance, and that worked right across the front line. So the signs are there, but we've just got to cut out these mistakes. That's the bottom line, because you can have all the preparation and the planning that you want, but if you're making mistakes like that at the back, you're just, you shouldn't have to be scoring 4 goals to win a game of football. And that's the bottom line, isn't it?
Exactly. So a man who made his debut for the Stones in that game at Twerton Park is the latest signing, Greg Cundall. Fleet fans mystified why he isn't starting for them, and they're a division higher. So doubly good news if you're a Maidstone fan, Nigel, really.
Yeah, and to be fair, I've seen a lot of some sort of like digs on social media and stuff, but they have been playing him as like a left wing back. Yeah. So, the last time he was in National League South, playing at this level, playing in that sort of left-sided position, which is his favourite position, he scored 12 goals and had 7 assists in all competitions. Yeah. So if he gets numbers close to that this coming season, or even in his loan spell, I know it's only for a month,
Well,
initially.
if he gets that in a month, I'll be happy.
Well, yeah, obviously if he gets that in a month, we'd be well happy, wouldn't we? As long as we don't make 13 mistakes at the back. But yeah, you know, it's good, and he did all right, didn't he? He is predominantly right-footed, but you know he can cut in, and he's not so useless on his left foot. I've seen highlights of him scoring left-footed goals, so he can obviously do it. Sending off, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was the man in there with Batten, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he was the one that just, just turned his man and got that turn of speed to just get in front of him. So, yeah, again, he hasn't been playing regularly, so we've just got to give him that chance, and hopefully he can settle in and show us what he can do.
So finally to Salisbury, and in goal, Alex Rutter is currently out on loan, having joined from League of Ireland Premier side Galway United back in January. Dan Lincoln brings a huge amount of experience to the Whites, with around 150 appearances at this level or above. He's played in the Vanarama National League and National League South with Dorking. So Nigel, they already have had a couple of other keepers this season as well, but they seem to have settled on one that we all know about, and we've come up against him quite a number of times before. Yeah,
Dan Lincoln is very much sort of like, we've talked about it before with keepers, isn't it? He's used to the banter and that. He's very experienced with that. He gives back as good as he gets, and he's a good keeper. I mean, he probably struggles a little bit. He's come out in the press and said it before. He is very good at cricket, and he plays for Berkshire, I believe it is, in the minor counties championship. So, but it doesn't really impact his football, and for this level especially, as we've said, he's a very good keeper.
So in defence, George Franklin, a sort of US presidential hybrid. He's on loan from Oxford United, having also been at North Lee and Bratton Town. Cameron Cox signed from Boreham Wood last week. He made his debut in their FA Trophy win over Farnborough. Jordan Reguette is a left-sided player who signed for Salisbury from AFC Totten, for whom he played against the Whites in last season's playoff final. Tom Leggett joined in pre-season 2023 from relegated Hartley Wintney. He's got experience at Southampton and Aston Villa under-23 sides in Premier League 2. He's played in central midfield, central defence and at right back for the club. Luke Wilkinson, he's an experienced central defender. He's made 29 appearances in the National League last season for Woking. He made over 230 appearances in the EFL as well. Josh Somerton came through their youth system, made his debut in the 17-18 season at the age of just 17 years old. Kenise Carroll has a wealth of experience in National League South, having been part of the Oxford City side that won promotion the season before last. And Sido John Barty is club captain. He was a pre-season signing from Ebbsfleet United last year, having helped the Fleet win the National League South title the season before. And Owen Dorr was signed in February this year from North Lee. So Nigel, a few of these defenders have been with the club for a few years, and others they've signed very experienced at this level.
Yeah, they are very experienced. I mean, just some names there that you mentioned, John Barty and Wilkinson, all players that we've come up against before at our level. So, again, it's like all these sides, isn't it? You've just got it's got to be about our game, I think. Obviously we'll be aware of them, but every game's tough. We've said it before. It's a tough league, isn't it? You just going through those names there. They're all names that you kind of recognise, and also, I know you can only play 4 of them or 5 if you play about 3 and with wing backs, but these younger players will be learning off of these experienced pros, and they're going to be out to want to prove a point, aren't they? So, it's going to be a tough test, I think.
So their midfield consists of Jaden Perez. He joined the Whites in January of this year from fellow Southside Farnborough. He made an instant impact in a 5-4 classic away victory of their local rivals Poole Town. Callum Watts scored the other goal in the Farnborough FA Trophy win and is formerly of Chelmsford. Ronan Silva is an attacking midfielder who played for Hayes and Yeading United in the Southern League Premier Division South last season. Ronan's played in the National League for Eastleigh and for Farnborough in National League South. Ryan Penny is a former Salisbury FC youth player. He went on to play for Chichester City and AFC Stoneham before returning on a permanent basis at the start of this season. And Aaron McCready is formerly of Oxford United. So Nigel, more experience at this level and some talented players who've impressed already this season.
Yeah, they have. And I mean, you're looking at Salisbury as a club, they're probably back to where they think is their natural home. I mean, they did go into administration when they was in the National League and dropped down a few leagues, didn't they, to the local leagues, but they've worked their way back up, and this is your archetypal sort of mid-table side. I think, I know they're newly promoted, but I don't think they're going to be in any danger of really going down just because of their location, the recruitment that they've got. It's a very solid recruitment, and as I say, they're your sort of bog standard sort of mid-table team, and can bloody the noses of the big boys, and hopefully that won't be the case on Saturday.
Up front, Craig Fastenmay joined from Chippenham Town in the summer, having previously played for Oxford City, Hungerford Town, Wealdstone and Hemel Hempstead Town. Noah Coppin signed for Salisbury FC during pre-season of 2023 from Weston-super-Mare. Josh Hedges joined from Didcot Town in the summer of 2023 after helping Diddy. I probably wouldn't keep calling them that now if I was you. Achieved promotion from Southern League Division 1 Central. He currently tops their scoring charts for this season. Aidan Elliott Wheeler has scored twice so far this season in a pair of wins and has played for both Oxford clubs. And Theo Lewis is in his second spell with the Whites, having previously played for Woking, Ebbsfleet and Havant. So Nigel, these players helped fire Salisbury up to National League South, and they're doing all right at this level so far. Yeah,
they are. Exactly that. And the common theme there for going through those names, there is a lot of tie-up with Oxford. That from that sort of area, isn't there? Both the Oxford clubs, Oxford United and Oxford City. So they're obviously local to the area, and like you say, they've and it's like we've said with the other clubs, isn't it? They're used to, if you've been promoted, you're used to winning games of football. So if you can get out of that first sort of 10 games and get yourself bedded into the team or into the division, then you're going to be confident. And they are at home, previous to what I just said, but they are at home, and this is going to be our first visit to the Ray Mack Stadium. So it's going to be an interesting atmosphere, because it's another one. They are a big sort of like traditional non-league club, aren't they? Like we said, they've been into administration, they've sort of fought their way back up, but it's a decent sort of setup they've got there. So again, we're going to have to be on our mettle to protect this unbeaten away record.
So looking at their form, they were sixth without a win in the league, and that sees them quite close to the drop zone at time of recording. It's their first season back at this level, of course, but 2 big wins either side of their FA Cup exit at home to Bath. So with a 4 weeks rest and a 3-0 FA Trophy win over Farnborough, they might fancy this one in spite of that away league record that the Stones have, Nigel. Yeah,
of course they will. Of course they'll fancy it. And like you said there, you've got that experience of that youth and experience sort of set up in there. Yeah. And it's a cocktail and formula that works well at this level. And Maidstone going there again, the longer this unbeaten record away from home goes on, the more teams they're the next ones off the rank, so they're going to try and beat it, aren't they? They're going to hope that after the long journey to Bath on Tuesday night, on the back of a long journey to Torquay on the previous Tuesday night, that we're going to be sort of feeling it a little bit. So it's down to sort of George and Craig to get the boys up for it. I mean, we talked about the Bath game, and it's going to feel like a loss, but we did play some good stuff there, and we are playing some good stuff. We're just not getting the points that justifies our performances at the moment. But your confidence is going to change, and hopefully that big win's just around the corner. So why not start Saturday?
Fingers crossed. So in the head-to-head stakes for this particular fixture, there's not been too much action between the sides fairly recently, but the mind does go back to Flisher's wonder goal in a 2-0 FA Trophy first round game back in 2012, and hoping for a similar finish and scoreline on Saturday, hopefully, Nigel.
After Bath on Tuesday night, I'll take a clean sheet and a 1-0 win. But like I've just said there, we are possession-wise, we are sort of, our stats must be up there over the 50% mark, and we just got to convert our chances when we take them.
So if you can't make it to the game on Saturday, myself and Darren will be as chipper as ever, and we'll have you covered on Stones Live from 2:40. You'll see us on the hot take and then hear us on the highlights once they go online later in the weekend. Climbing up on Salisbury Hill, I could see the city light. Wind was blowing, time stood still, eagle flew out of the night. Oh, it's spelt differently. Oh, okay. Here's hoping the Stones can successfully climb the Salisbury Hill come Saturday. Our thanks, as always, to you for watching or listening to the latest preview. Like and subscribe on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. See or hear you for our next preview ahead of the Eastbourne home. Yes, we're back at home, that says. Home league game. And as always...
Come on, you Stones!